Today, we're going to look at different ways companies can legally lie to their own employees and job applicants, and there's really nothing that the employees can do about it. Number one, the job description. Have you ever felt like you've been catfished? Your job can tell you that you're going to do one thing and then you end up doing another thing. For example, I got hired as a web developer and they told me I'd be doing JavaScript, React, and so on, and I ended up doing drag and drop Elementor for WordPress. If you happen to fall into one of these jobs and you stay too long, you can end up stunting your career growth and your skill growth. Could be a giant waste of time. Number two, piggybacking off of that a little bit, we have the prestigious job title. Companies know that people love fancy labels, so they'll promise you a title that belongs on a Royals business card. But once you're in, you might find that your title is as prestigious as a janitor in a tiara. Some companies might just offer you a title simply to offer you less money. Oftentimes, companies use job titles as a way to establish pay for a position, not necessarily what you'll be doing or the authority or responsibility you have. And we have a web developer position, but down here it says you'll be producing motion graphics and video using Adobe After Effects. You'll be producing live action video using Adobe Premiere, why not DaVinci Resolve? Performs graphic design functions. Produce marketing brochures. This is one position, but when you look at the responsibilities of the epic things you'll be working on, it's an entire department. Maybe even two different departments. Now, another one many of us have experienced, pay raises and promotions. Companies may make promises, but then somehow conveniently forget or run out of money or have a bad quarter even though they have record profits and they don't follow through. Yes, you'll always want to get agreements in writing if you want any chance at being able to validate yourself in front of the company, but there's still no law that says just because you got your raise agreement in writing, they have to give it to you. Companies have the ability to make endless amounts of promises and then continually push those promises out, and there's nothing you can do about it except threaten to leave, and hopefully that's enough to motivate them. Speaking of pay raises and promotions, let's talk about where you keep that money, because that's right, we got another one, and today's sponsor is Extra Wallets. First off, let me just say that this is super cool because I've actually had an Extra Wallet for like the past 3 years, and when they reached out and asked if I was interested, I was like, absolutely. If you don't know what an Extra Wallet is, this is what it looks like. My model came with a little opening for a AirTag so I can track it if I lose it, and that has come in handy more times than I would like to admit. It also has this super cool button, which is always kind of cool to show people. Just squeeze it, all your cards come out, and you can conveniently grab them. It's about half the size of a conventional wallet and holds about 12 to 15 cards depending on what model you get. On the inside, it has a spot where you can store more cards or cash, and then there are these openings where you can store even more. And then there's the built-in RFID protection so people can't wirelessly try and steal your credit card information. We have other versions too, like this metal plated one that's slimmer without the folding cover. And this one comes with a solar tracking device, so you just pair it with your phone and then you can find your wallet that way. I just use the AirTag version because I track my dogs with that as well. I'm just super stoked for this sponsor because I've been using their products for so long anyways, and I always show my friends and HR ladies' parents, and they're like, wow, that's super cool, where'd you get it? And so I get to recommend it to them, and now I get to recommend it to you, and it's a win-win in my book. So if you're interested, you can use my code Fluke for up to 30% off during their spring sale, and I'll put my links down below so you can check it out there as well. Now let's talk about the next section, unlimited PTO. Companies love to use that as a way to get people hired, but what does that really mean? When companies have unlimited PTO, it can be difficult for employees to figure out how much PTO they can actually take. Yes, you have unlimited PTO, but only when it's approved. So normally you're just kind of looking around to see if other people are taking PTO, and when they don't, you're going to be like, Unlimited PTO is one of those things that can seem like it's great, but unless they have a mandatory amount that you have to take, it's a slippery slope to manipulation. Another big one that not a lot of people think about is loss of accrued days. At companies with more traditional PTO offerings, oftentimes you can stockpile these days, meaning when you quit, you usually get a nice little bonus check according to whatever vacation you have saved up. With unlimited PTO, you no longer have any days saved up that hold value. You just have unlimited days, as long as they're approved, I guess. Another one companies love to lie about is the old flexible schedule. Companies might promise you the freedom to work on your terms, but once you're on board, they'll twist and turn your schedule like a bendy straw. So another example of this might be remote work. It starts off remote, and they change the policy to bring everyone in. We've seen that happening everywhere lately. Yes, you can work remote. Just kidding, we're changing our mind. Come back in the office. Another way that companies can lie to job applicants is by offering contract to hire positions. Normally the contract period is a trial period, and then you'll be converted into a full-time employee. Except That doesn't happen at the end of the contract, and they knew that from the get-go. So they hire you initially under the guise of becoming full-time later, and it's just a test for now, but that's not actually what they ever wanted. When they hire you as a full-time employee, their payroll tax increases. If you're just a contractor, you have to pay the self-employment taxes. Another one that has come into prominence more recently are good faith pay transparency laws. At least in New York, it has to be good faith. Yes, companies are required to disclose a pay range, but now they just make the pay range ridiculous. For example, the senior technical writer at Amazon, the pay ranged from $125,800 a year to $211,300 per year. In New York City, at least, the pay transparency law uses language that the job posting should show a good faith salary range. And you would think this means a genuine, honest range that the company wants to pay for this position. But what good faith actually means, according to the law, is what the employer honestly believes at the time they're listing the job advertisement that they're willing to pay the successful applicants. And while this is nice, there's nothing stopping companies from just changing what they honestly believe the job is worth. That's just a few of the things they can lie about. Companies are usually under no obligation to follow through with promises to their employees as long as they're not breaking any laws. If you got something out of this, click that like button and be sure to subscribe to see me cut through more corporate nonsense like this. I'm interested in hearing what lies you've been told by corporate. Leave a comment. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to Exter for sponsoring today's video. You can use my code Fluke, or you can use the link down below to get up to 30% off until May 15th for their spring sale. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll see you in the next one.